Good afternoon and welcome. Welcome indeed to a very exciting day in the world of sports here on the Mark Moses Show as brackets are out and now we get to talk about the dance. Yes, here on the Mark Moses Show podcast, as we're always broadcasting from the Anidjar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Take back control of your life. Call them today. Yes, it's Anidjar and Levine Accident Attorneys. All right, let's go to North Carolina. Let's talk to this gentleman. Great friend of mine. He does a great job with, hoopshq.com and Straight Up Sports. He is Brett Friedlander. Brett, how you doing today?
A little bleary-eyed. It's been a long weekend at the ACC tournament and Selection Sunday. I'm pouring through the brackets and trying to figure out who's going to do what. But, hey, best time of the year, man.
All right, let's start with the obvious. Duke is the number one overall seed. They were dominant most of the season. Regular season champion, survived Virginia in that title game. You saw it. Do you think Duke right now is the best team in the country? We'll start there.
Let's put it this way. I think they're one of the 2 or 3 best teams in the country. Arizona's pretty darn good as well. And yesterday notwithstanding, so is Michigan. But yeah, I think Duke proved a lot in Charlotte because there were 2 men down. They were playing without point guard Caleb Foster, who is out for the foreseeable future and maybe the rest of the tournament, and big man Patrick Ngangba, who is nursing a foot injury, and he was held out as a precaution. And even with that, they still won the ACC championship and beat a really good Virginia team, a team that is going to be a very hard out in this next tournament. But I think one of the things that happened in that tournament convinces me that they've got what it takes. As long as Ngangba is back, that gives them a deeper inside rotation and kind of improves even more their interior defense. Caden Boozer came into his own. He was forced to play big minutes. He was the backup to Foster. He's now the point guard. He's the twin brother and shorter brother of Cameron Boozer. And he had a great tournament. He had a really rocky start against Florida State. I think that maybe the change in role kind of got to him a little bit, but he battled back. He scored career high 16 points in each of the last 2 games against Clemson and Virginia. And in Virginia, he kept Duke in the game in the first half. He had 14 of those 16 points before halftime. And so I think that his development, the fact that he could handle the pressure in a close, meaningful game, he played 40 minutes against Virginia. That says to me that they won't miss Caleb Foster as much as we first thought. And I think that if he continues to play at this level, Duke should be in Indy and has a great shot at winning the thing.
I've told you this off air, NBA draft. I know this guy from Arkansas is going to get all the love now. It's the number 1 pick.
Yep.
If the team I grew up rooting for, the Bulls, get in the lottery, I don't care if you get the 3rd pick overall, get Boozer. You had the dad when you had Derrick Rose. You made the Eastern Conference Finals. I want Boozer at 3. Do you like Boozer as a draft prospect?
I absolutely do. He's, the comparison obviously is with Cooper Flagg because he's a Duke guy. He's a generational player, and he's clearly one of the best players in the country. But they are 2 absolutely different kind of players. Cooper Flagg is a sleek athlete who just makes everything look easy. Cameron Boozer is a horse. He's built like a tank. He's just got grit. He's a very physical player. And the thing about him that I was so impressed with on Saturday in the Virginia game is that he did not shoot well. They defended him incredibly well, and he really had a tough time of it. But he didn't just kind of sulk. He just kept on plugging at it, and he made winning plays at the end. He got fouled twice down the stretch, made the clinching free throws, and the smarts that he has kind of showed up on a play where he got blocked at the rim, got the rebound. Now, this is in the last minute of the game. Duke is up by 2. He goes to the rim, gets blocked. He comes down with the rebound. Instead of going back up and getting blocked again, he passes the ball back out. Now you don't have to, the shot clock is off. Now you don't have to shoot again. And Isaiah Evans got fouled and he made 2 free throws. But yes, I think that he's the real deal. Totally different player. But I think that he will definitely fit with whichever NBA team he is with.
Yeah, that's great. I like that. Yeah, thumbs up. Okay, I need that. I need that on the Bulls. I do.
Yes.
The ACC got 8. I believe the Big 10, Big 12, I think they all got 8, and then the SEC got 10. Are you okay with the ACC getting 8 right now, or do you feel like there should have been more?
No, I think that they got what they deserved. I'm a little kind of surprised that NC State ended up in the first 4 in Dayton. That's the only surprise. But you know what? They got in and they didn't play well down the stretch. So you know what? You get what you deserve.
Yeah.
As for the the other 2 bubble teams, the ACC, Virginia Tech and Cal, hey, they had a chance in Charlotte at the ACC tournament to win a game that might have gotten them into the tournament, but they didn't. So that's on them. As for the SEC, they've got a great propaganda machine, and that's paying off for them. The Greg Sankey effect. But listen, I'm okay with it because 16 loss Auburn didn't get in, and 15 loss Oklahoma didn't get in. So I'm okay. It's good. And listen, the bubble this year was the most defined bubble I can remember. There is no team that you look at in the first few that didn't get in the bracket that you say, what a travesty. It's an outrage. They didn't get in. And there's none, because I think that the 68 teams were pretty well defined by the last week of the season.
Yeah, I had no problem. The minute I saw the bracket, I'm like, okay, all right, there's no controversy. I know the New York media is trying to go, oh, St. John's should have been higher. All right, well, this is what it is. This is the draw.
And the other thing, too, is I don't want to hear the whole Miami of Ohio's, strength of schedule thing. Okay. They won 31 straight. They went undefeated in the regular season and stumbled by 2 points, 3 points in their conference tournament. Listen, this is not about the 68 best teams in the country. Okay. Because if it was, you wouldn't have automatic qualifiers. Everybody would be an automatic bid. Right. So, let them in. And you know what? They're going into the first 4, which I think is okay. And if they beat, I don't remember who they're playing, but they're playing a power conference team, SMU, I believe it is, an ACC team. Hey, you know what? If they lose to a bubble team, great. Maybe everybody was right, but they deserve the opportunity to prove themselves and to prove that everybody else was right.
Yeah, I have no problem, because down the stretch, and look, you're right, they went undefeated. It's an amazing accomplishment. But the last 2 weeks of the season, every game was going down to 1 or 2 buckets. Every single time. So they're in. All right. Okay, wait. I take it back. I got to go lead Corso. Not so fast. My own comment. The only thing that scares me is Florida has a chance in the South region if they could survive Vandy in the Sweet 16, which I don't know if they can. They'd have to go to Houston
to play Houston.
What? Yeah. How did that? What are you talking about? How did
that is the benefit of being a 1 seed, but it's the danger of being the last 1 seed, I guess. And listen, Duke didn't get any favors either. Look at the bracket that they're in. I mean, they won't have to play everybody because, Michigan State and I can't remember who else it is. It's on the other side of the bracket. So they would only have to play one of those teams in the Elite 8. But, Ohio State is no pushover in round 2. I mean, if Ohio State even gets there, they're in the same bracket as St. John's. Hey, listen, New York media, if you really think St. John's is it, you're about to find out here in the second round, or in the Sweet 16. So, it's going to be fun. I think UConn is in that region as well.
Look,
so,
you have to play people after a while. If you're
going to be the best, you got to beat everybody. So, and I can't wait. It's going to be so fun. I mean, this is the best time of the year.
All right, here's my question for you, and there's no wrong answers. You've done this a long time. You've been to multiple, tournament games over the years.
14 Final Fours.
This is the new world we live with transfer portal and NIL. Do you feel like basketball is in a good state right now with the way this tournament is and how teams have adjusted? Do you like what's going on right now with the sport?
Well, college basketball is not in a good place because I don't like the idea of open free agency and multiple transfers, and the fact that most teams, not maybe half of the teams, basically start over with a clean slate every year. You can't have any continuity. Development is tough. So that aspect of it, not a big fan. However, because of that and because of NIL, you have seniors and juniors and guys, maybe they're not playing in the same places that they started, but the more experienced players that you have, the better the quality of the game. And I think the quality of college basketball is as good as it's been in a very long time, because you do have guys that have been around. You do have guys that are experienced. They always say that the biggest advantage in the postseason is having seniors. Well, there are a lot of seniors out there, and guys playing in their 5th and 6th years of college basketball, for crying out loud. So in that respect, I do like the quality of it. Not quite sure I like how we got here.
It's a great point, because we used to live in the one and done world, where all freshmen, and then you kind of looked down on a program if they had juniors and seniors with some of this stuff. But all right. My other one is, so Pitino, Calipari, these guys are still here. Other coaches, Izzo will never leave. It's funny. We had a lot of guys leave the sport. Larinaga, Tony Bennett, Coach K. They all are, all right, we're out. Jay Wright. They're all out. But then these guys, are they going to be 90 and still coaching? What is going to happen to these? Because these guys are still competing at a high level.
I don't know. I mean, listen, it's like Bear Bryant, right? The second he retired, he died. So maybe some of these guys, it's like this is their life. And if they don't have it, they really have no life. Listen, it's not about the age of these guys, because Tony Bennett was still young. Jay Wright was still young. It's, can you adjust? Do you want to adjust? Tony Bennett had a way of doing things, and it just didn't work anymore. And he just didn't want to adjust. He said, you know what, I'd rather walk away and just kind of take my championship and go do whatever I'm going to go do. But these guys, I mean, Izzo, especially Coach Cal, these guys have embraced the transfer portal. They've embraced NIL. They have, changed with the times. And if you can do that, and, the players, you've got enough of a budget that the players will go there, and you've got enough of a name where players recognize you, then why not stay if you want to?
All right. Then here's the fun question. If Florida makes another run, which they're probably going to do, I think they're in the Sweet 16 at least.
Absolutely.
If you are Todd Golden and Kansas calls and offers you the blank check to be the new man at an epic blue blood like that, what would you do? Because it's going to look, Kansas is going to call someone. If they call you up, is that one of those calls you cannot tell them no?
I would have to say yes. There are only a few of those, right? Duke, UNC, Kansas, I don't know, is Indiana still that, but I mean, there are only a few of those programs that you can, UConn is another one. You have to at least listen. The alternative is that what you have at Florida is a good thing. And if you stay long enough, they will name the court after you. And, and so there's something to be said for that. But again, it wouldn't be, it wouldn't be, let's go to LSU and take the money and start over there. Yeah. You don't even consider that, but Kansas, Allen Fieldhouse, I mean, Dr. James Naismith, for crying out loud, was associated with that program. You have to at least listen. Yeah.
I think you have to listen. But again, you're winning titles at Florida.
But so did Billy Donovan.
Yeah, I know. Remember Donovan took the Magic job, did the press conference, then said, you know what, this is a bad idea, and then went back. But then now has been in the NBA for 10 years as a coach. Yeah. Weirdest thing ever. If Kansas calls, and they give you the blank check, I don't know what.
No, you have to.
In hindsight, and we could debate this, I would have taken the Lakers job if I was Hurley. I know he's at UConn. He's won multiple national titles.
But you know what, though? Coach K had a chance to do that, too. And he stayed. And he won a couple more championships. And again, court's named after him. So, I mean, if you're Dan Hurley, how much money do you need? And the other thing, too, is, are you a West Coast guy? Are you an LA guy? Or are you a Stores, Connecticut kind of guy? And, does your family want to live out there in La La Land? Or are they happy with her? There are a lot of factors that, And when you're in a position where you don't have to worry about your job security, you think of other things. I've never been in that situation, so I wouldn't know, but
there's still time for you. Okay, Brett Friedlander. My thing is, I think the red flag, and I can't believe I'm going to say this. I think LeBron James was the red flag where, you got to draft my son. And but if I'm young and you give me Luka Doncic in his prime and I could build a team and I'm the new Pat Riley and the Lakers, the Lake Show, I don't know if I could turn that down.
But you bring up a really good point, though, because if he goes to any NBA team, particularly one like the Lakers, number one, the players are making more than he is, and they've got a lot more sway than he does. And it's the old, I'm going to be here longer than you are situation. Whereas at UConn, he has that finger on that program, and he pulls all the strings, and he has the final say on everything. So control is another thing.
Who is your Final Four? What do you like? Have you even done it yet? I know you probably haven't.
I haven't actually, but I do think Duke and Arizona are teams that I would be shocked if they're not there. Just like last year, I was at the first round in Raleigh, North Carolina. I saw Florida and I saw Duke on the same court, and you just knew that they were going to be there. I think Duke and Arizona are, barring any kind of injuries, because if you look at the bracket, a lot of who advances and who doesn't will depend on injuries. I mean, because there are some serious ones. Michigan in particular, I think Michigan and Florida are the two teams that have the most chance of getting knocked off. I think that Houston is going to be in the Final Four. Playing in Houston, the fact that they play such great defense, and they've got some freshmen who can actually put the ball in the basket this year, which differentiates them from previous Houston teams. And I just think Kelvin Sampson is due. He's gotten close several times. He got there last year, got to the championship game, almost pulled it off. I think that they're going to be the Final Four team from that region. And to be honest with you, I don't have the bracket handy here. I'm looking at my thing to see, but I don't think Michigan's getting there. And I'm looking to see who I like in that region. But and of course, they're on the other side of the bracket.
You're right. Look. I have done this a long time. I've never won a bracket challenge, and
neither have I. But listen, Mark, you know who wins bracket challenges?
I know
it's my wife. Because she picks like the dominant, mascot theory, or I like the color. Zaga. Gonzaga. That's a cool name. So, but if you put too much thought into it, you always outthink yourself. And the thing is, you don't pick first and second round. You always go chalk, because if you pick the wrong upset, your bracket is done. You're finished in the first hour of the tournament. So but yeah, you're right. If you know too much, the more you know, the worse you do in these things.
Yes. Yeah, it's a good thing. Ever since the Super Bowl, I have watched basketball 5 hours a day, every day till now. Okay, every single day. The thing I've noticed, and I want your opinion on this. Now he's looking at his bracket.
I'm looking at my bracket to see who Michigan's going to get beat by. Okay, anyway, so I'm listening.
I feel like we went through a craze with Steph Curry and the Splash Brothers, where everyone decided we're going to be 3-point shooters. Even if we're not 3-point shooters, everything is going to be three. I've noticed in college this year, a lot of bigger teams, Arizona, Florida, even you talk about Duke, everyone's kind of big, and we're going to hammer it inside. And then it kind of feels like, all right, if you have any type of guard play, you're going to win after a while.
Yep.
Do you style of play? What have you seen now with the current state?
Well, it's still fire up threes. I mean, nothing drives me crazier than a guy gets a steal. All right. He comes down. He's got a guy running on the wing, pass it to him for the dunk. No, he stops and pulls up for three and
misses it. So my thought process is wrong. You're still seeing the 3-pointer.
Yes, not as much. No, now not as much. But I mean, guys that are 7 feet tall are like firing up threes. It's like, get your back to the basket, put the ball. And you know what? Cam and Boozer is is a throwback, because he's a guy. Yeah, he can make threes, but he'll get down on the low block. They'll clear out for him, and he'll back his guy in there and get to the line and there are a few of those out there, but it's still fire up threes. And by the way, I just looked at the bracket.
What?
If JVT Toppin was healthy, I think Texas Tech would really be the team that I'd liked in that bracket. There are a lot of SEC teams. Iowa State is playing incredibly well, but don't be surprised if Virginia comes through there and wins that break, that region. They are really, really good. When they shoot well, they are tough to beat, because you want to talk about a team that is inside, plays an old school kind of more post-oriented kind of game. Well, that's Virginia. Look at them. They've got Tace DeRitter is 6'10", and he's inside outside guy. They got the Grunlow guy from Germany, who it was fun sitting behind the Virginia bench during the tournament in Charlotte last week, because he got 2 quick fouls in their semifinal game against I can't remember who they played anymore, but he came off the bench and started cursing in German. It was kind of fun. And then, of course, there's the shot blocking monster, who I'm not even going to try to pronounce his name. The guy had 8 blocks against NC State. He had 9 blocks against Duke in 3 games. I believe he had 22 block shots. They're going to be a very, very tough out.
Where are you going to cover?
Greenville, South Carolina, where both Duke and North Carolina are. And it's going to be a zoo. And keep this in mind. The last time Duke played a regional in Greenville, South Carolina, lost in the second round to South Carolina. North Carolina was also there. I think they went on and won the championship. It was 2017. So we'll see. It's going to be interesting, because I think UNC's got a chance to get beat by Virginia Commonwealth in that first game. But yeah, it'll be wild.
You live in what they call the Triangle, I believe.
Raleigh, Durham, Chapel Hill, yeah.
So when this time of year happens and the tournament games are on, does everything just shut down? Like everyone's going to watch it again? That's what I imagine.
Yes, and at school, there are a lot of teachers who will say, forget class, they'll bring in the TV for the AV room and show the game. So, yeah.
I have a bunch of buddies who went to VCU, and they're taking on the Tar Heels. I go, Look, campus is getting shut down, because if you have a chance to upset North Carolina,
and they could because even with Caleb Wilson, and he's out for the season, but even with him, they would have had a shot, because UNC is only going to advance as far into the tournament as their guards will take them, and their guards have been incredibly inconsistent. Even Seth Trimble has just been up and down. You get Luka Bogovic against Clemson during the regular season, makes 7 3-pointers, they win. And he is non-existent in the rematch at the ACC tournament quarterfinals last week, and they lose. And they got down by 20 before they finally made a late comeback. But Carolina is vulnerable, very vulnerable.
Hey, Duke almost lost to Florida State, of all teams.
But wait a minute. First of all, that was the first game that they played without 2 starters, okay? And Caden Boozer was like a deer in headlights. He was a different player after that. The other thing, too, is Florida State, don't judge them by their record. Luke Locks did a tremendous job this season. And I think one of the best coaching jobs in the ACC, because they were 0-5 in the ACC. They got beat by 30 points against NC State. And that night, Locks and his staff, instead of going home and saying, this is not the right combination, let's kind of figure out what we're going to do differently next year, they stayed in the office till 4 a.m. They watched tapes of that game, and they decided, this isn't working. How can we do something that's different, that changes things, that better uses our talent? They decided, instead of firing up 3-pointers like you said, they said, let's start attacking the rim. And they did. Defensively, we're too passive. They started picking up full court and just kind of speeding up the tempo of the game. They won 10 out of their last 12 regular season ACC games after going 0-5 to start. And, I don't know if McCray has got any eligibility left or not, but if he does, coming back next year, that's a team to keep an eye on in the ACC, because I'm telling you, that was a tremendous coaching job, and that was a very good team at the end of the season. It was no fluke that they took Duke to the wire.
What an answer. Fantastic. Ends with the the strikeout. You were like Team USA baseball last night against the Dominican Republic. That was
although strike 3 at the end of the game was a really, if they had the auto ump that they're going to have in Major League Baseball, I think that game would have still continued.
I just so you know, that game was incredible, and the Venezuela-Japan game was also. And there's this energy in the building last night where Dominican Republic was ready to party. They were ready to explode. Yep. And that pitching by the Americans, incredible. Paul Skeens, he is the man. I don't care about his girlfriend.
The question is, though, Mark, who's he going to be pitching for a year from now, 2 years from now, the Yankees or the Dodgers? Because he will.
You know what? I want him to at least be on a competitive team. Get him out of pitching.
Yeah, but I mean, not either of the evil empires. Come on. They're ruining baseball. It's almost like, and you know what? Ohtani, think about the last World Classic. He was like the toast of the town. He was this great. Everybody loved him, and he's kind of becoming a much less sympathetic character now. And it's nothing that he's done. He's still the same kind of. Nobody enjoys playing baseball more than that guy. But just the whole Dodgers thing is just, changing everything.
What was cool about last night is it's all you got to manufacture runs. You can't just show. We see this all the time in the Dominican Republic. We're just going to win off talent. No, pitching will shut you down. They did not. I blame Pujols. I can't believe I'm going to say this. As a manager, he should have had Austin Wells keep hitting in the 9th inning. Shouldn't have gone to the pinch hitter. They had anything. Small ball could have beat because the Americans couldn't hit either.
Yep.
I love it.
But here's the thing about this, too. You're seeing inexperienced managers, too, because Mark DeRosa, the U.S. is even lucky just to be there because DeRosa had the boner of all boners, and that he thought they'd already clinched the spot, and he managed to lose, basically.
You know what we need? We need the Italians to win. And then we need a rematch for the title.
Manja. You know, the thing about it is, too, it's kind of misleading because it's not like you've got Luigi from Naples playing, these are all American guys with Italian names. It's sort of like Team Israel. It's all a bunch of Jewish guys who play in the majors.
It'd be you and me on Team Israel. Now, I play
This is not Shlomo Lipschitz from Tel Aviv. This is... It's Max Fried on the mound.
Yeah, it was. So, Brett Friedlander, thanks for your help, buddy. Have a great day, all right?
Anytime, my friend.